Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MMA Plug presented to you by the Talk of Colorado on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio. We have a special guest joining us back here on the program. He is one of the largest, most athletic human beings in all of mixed martial arts. We have the great and powerful Steve Mowry. How you doing, my man?
Good, Jordan. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, my man. You have
Josh, you're welcome for being here. Just Josh.
Of course. Steve, you have a big fight coming up. It's you're fighting a guy in Valentin Moldavsky who is just one fight removed from a world championship fight himself. What does this opportunity mean for you?
Well, it's a lot. It's not so much. I keep hearing the word, big fight. But I'll be honest with you. I've never went into a fight prepared to lose. I've never been okay with the idea of losing. Every time I fight, I'm just looking forward to doing the best that I can do. I'm looking forward to putting on a show, showcasing my skill set. I think next week, August 12th, is going to be no different. It's going to be Steve Mowry coming in there, doing his thing, doing something special.
Certainly.
Steve, yesterday when I messaged you and I asked if you were available to do this. It was after I saw you post that reel of your most recent pad session. And, I've known you for a long time. And I went back through your Instagram and I was watching, young Steve, the Steve without the beard, getting after it down in at the time it was Hard Knocks. And even before that, something I wanted you to explain to us and to the people is your growth since going down to Florida, since being in the realms of Henry Hooft, like pretty much growing up as a professional with those guys in your corner. And I've seen it just going through those videos and just knowing you throughout life. You've made huge strides in your skill set. And honestly, you kind of grown into your body now. Let's be honest, you're tall Steve. And you had a while to go to figure out getting all the coordination, all the skills all put together. And it looks like the puzzle piece is almost there. Talk about the growth since being down in Florida and where you feel you are in your skill set as far as you are in your pro career.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I think about being in a room full of guys like the one I'm in is that everybody has to fight to put food on the table, And what makes that so what makes that such a conducive environment for getting better is that you find out right away, especially in the way that I did, you find out right away what works and what doesn't. So, me coming from the amateurs and then moving down here and joining the pro ranks in a room full of guys that were already all seasoned pros, really kind of put a fire to all the skills that I knew. And the ones that worked, I found out really quickly how well they worked, and the ones that didn't kind of got burned up with the chaff. In that said, I kind of got to start from ground zero in the sense that I was able to put stuff behind me that I knew I only got away with because of my body. I was able to add stuff that I was okay, well, if I'm using my physical gifts to my absolute maximum ability, these are the things that I'm going to want to implement. And like you said, I feel like every fight I've gotten a little bit better, gotten a little bit more fine-tuned, a little bit more sharp, a little bit more athletic, a little bit more dynamic. I'm going to keep on going till the wheels fall off this, baby.
Absolutely. Well, and obviously with that, it's not just Josh or that's noticed that growth. It's you're in that position for a reason, right? You're fighting a former title contender. You're in a co-main event slot. You're getting more of that push from the promotion side of it. What does that mean anything more to you getting those resources, if you will, or is it just, I just got to keep on getting there until the job is done?
No, it's cool to get the recognition, I guess, but at the end of the day, I'm just trying to beat people up and have fun doing it. And if I can make a little money, that would be cool too.
That's such a Yinzer statement.
It's not just beat some people up, just be happy, make some money.
If I could buy my mom a couple dinners, that'd be all right too.
Steve, not looking too far ahead, obviously, because I know you're focused on this fight and this competition at first. You're not the type to look past your opponent. You've never done that. But I am interested in knowing say the fight comes around and you do what you're supposed to do. You do what we all believe you're going to do. You're going to put on a spectacular performance and you get your hand raised. Are you calling for the shot?
I'll be honest, I don't. I'm really just gonna let the fight play out. We'll see what happens. Obviously, my good friend and teammate Flynn Vassell's fighting for the title next, and I don't know. Like I said, I'm really not thinking about what I'm gonna do past August 12th, except for maybe have a couple beers.
That's fair.
Maybe win that fight and then come up to Colorado.
Yeah, so that's been in the works for a long time.
Yeah, come join us in the Mile High. We'd love to have you out here.
That's right. If you got room in the studio, old Stevie Bear is going to have to fly through there.
Big old couch you can come hang on. My dogs would love to cuddle with you.
Oh, let's hit it.
That's awesome. Now, with that being said, you were supposed to fight a couple of months ago. Now everything is back, good to go. Body is back in tune, running like a finely oiled up machine. Yeah. Everything's good, and it was just obviously really unfortunate what happened, but here we are now. Yeah, certainly. Now, just kind of like pairing off of not necessarily with that question, but in the recent time since we spoke last, you had a grappling matchup with one of the most viral sensation grapplers out there right now today. And I've just heard from so many people that, strength with a lot of guys that are out there. And then you feel this guy grab onto you. Did you feel that from Nicky Rod? That's the thing. It's not that he's not strong. It's just that I didn't feel like he was remarkably stronger than me. But just as honestly as I can be, I did feel like he was a much better grappler than me. And it's not that I think I suck. I think I'm a pretty good grappler, actually. It's just that, I could feel every inch of how much more developed his game was than mine. And, he really proved it. So, and no excuses there. Nicky Rod's a beast. Good for him.
No, that's something that I've witnessed you do your entire career. You've never been afraid to step up to challenges like that. I remember you even faced Gordon Ryan at one point when you were younger. You're always stepping up to the challenge of those guys. And they're strictly jiu-jitsu. I don't see Nicky Rod out here throwing hands or knees or anything like that. So that's really cool that you stepped up for that. Steve, what I wanted to ask next is your newly signed Bellator deal. A lot of guys, Courtesy and I actually had this conversation on our radio show last night with comments coming out from Anthony Pettis saying that a lot of guys they fall into that trap of the UFC with the fame of the UFC, the notoriety, whatever of that, technically what some people would say the number one fighting promotion in the world. But I see you're happy with Bellator. You're doing your thing in Bellator. And since you've made that decision a while ago, you are happy with that decision, right? And do you see yourself being in Bellator for an extended period of time, or do you see yourself testing the waters ever?
Well, that's the thing. Bellator and I we've had such a good working relationship, and the Bellator brass, not just, the administration with Scott and Jane and Carrie and, the powers that be, but also, the everyday people behind the scenes that a lot of, your average Joes don't get to see and hear about. It's just been so good and so fruitful that, as long as business keeps going in the way that it is and they have faith in me, I'm going to have faith in them. So, for the foreseeable future, Steve Mowry is going to be a Bellator heavyweight. Absolutely. And Steve, that is the perfect answer because you can't show your hand before you even get the title shot. You know what I mean? I just signed a new contract. Cut me a break. Absolutely. This is chess, not checkers, son. Are you trying to get me cut, Josh? But yeah, perfect answer there. With camp winding up, coming down into the waning stages here, is there anything in particular that really stood out for you, or was there a profound moment that said, you know what, I'm ready to go, this is my time? I started doing this thing called I don't know what you would normally. What I do before a fight is I'll kind of simulate the fight a couple times, which is just to say that I'll kind of go to the gym on a Saturday, and for 2 or 3 weeks before the fight, I'll have Saturday be just just hard sparring where I'll have it'll be like me and one other guy. We'd beat each other up for a few rounds, and that's like just to kind of get the feel for a fight. Like two guys slugging it out, getting tired, and then healthy right off into the fight, knowing that like, well, hey, look, I've done this a handful of times now. Like this is just another day in the gym. But this last camp, I never to outdo myself, or rather to always outdo myself. We had a lot of really good guys who I feel like we're going to be able to mimic the style of a Valentin Moldavsky. And I took advantage of not just the guys who had a good style skill set, but also guys who had a good high skill set in general. So what I did was I'd have a fresh guy on me every 2.5 minutes for 4 rounds. It was like for like the last 3 weeks. And that's, man, I was fucking miserable. It was very difficult. And it was not regular dudes. It was motherfucking murderers. So, yeah, I mean, if you ever want to feel prepared for a fight, that's what you got to do.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
Especially the caliber fighter that Valentin Moldavsky is.
Steve, we know you're a heavyweight, and you're not cutting a ton of weight, if at all any weight, going into this fight. What is your go-to after weigh-in meal? What is your fuel?
Usually Italian food.
Italian food? Anything in particular? Gnocchi, spaghetti, chicken parmy?
I mean, I never say no to a good gnocchi, but a little chicken parm. Sometimes some lasagna, You got to keep it fresh.
Like that.
Okay. I mean, I could appreciate that.
I have one more question. This is one that I'm excited to ask Steve because I know how introspective Steve is. I've been asking a couple fighters lately leading up to their fights. Is there anything in particular that, for me personally, I like to tell a story throughout my career with each fight leading up to each fight. I have quotes that I'll put up on my wall or songs that I'll listen to or little things that'll push me like, I want to get my record to this or I want to do this. Is there anything leading up to this fight, any quotes, song lyrics, or anything of that nature that you have just been pressing in your mind to make you tell your story of this fight?
I can't say that there is. I always want to be the most violent, most mean, most aggressive person I could possibly be. And that's kind of what I try to do in the gym, and I try to do that every fight.
So what I'm hearing is Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus is just blasting in your ears. Ready?
Yeah, probably that. I whip my hair back and forth by Willow Smith. I got the beer coming in nice and thick too, so it's going to be popping.
Nice and thick.
Just going to be glistening and glimmering as soon as the camera flashes.
Oh, we're fighting in Sioux Falls, boys. I gotta let the mouth man come out.
Oh yeah, certainly. Now, as far as that goes for you, what does that mean for the travel preparation, or is there anything different going on for that as far as this week? Because your last fight was in Florida, right?
Yes. Yeah, no, it's just another day at the office.
Understandable there. Now, Steve, as we tie this thing up here, is there any sponsors or is there anybody that you want to throw a shout out to here on the way out?
Shout out to all my coaches and teammates at KillCliff FC. Shout out to my agency, Banner Sports. Shout out to Lloyd. Shout out to my beautiful fiance, Allie, my kids, Sophia and and God has been so good. I'm so blessed to have some good friends. I know Josh Fremd too, which is, has been touch and go, but he's mostly a good guy. And I'm looking forward to doing something special August 12th.
Awesome. And now that brings me to one last final question there, and it sparked it as soon as you said the words. What is that like, or how long did it take you to get used to saying KillCliff instead of Sanford now? Like, you've been around for a couple of different name changes, so how long does it take for you to just kind of get that all tuned into your talk track?
What a good question. So when I moved here as the Black Zillions, then we were Combat Club, then we were Hard Knocks, then we were Sanford, and now we're KillCliff. To kind of give you a little snippet, we haven't even been Sanford for, I think we've been Sanford for
like 3
or a little over 2, maybe.
I was going to say like 3 years, somewhere in there.
That's the thing. It was like right around the pandemic is when we started with Sanford. So
gotcha.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. But no, that said, KillCliff did a wonderful job of, kind of like onboarding us, letting us know like, what the standard was going to, or rather just what to expect moving forward. And while, we were really happy with Sanford, and, with everything they've done for the team, we're really looking forward to the direction we're going to be moving with KillCliff. I'm so excited to be working with those guys, everything that we have going on. And, it's going to be great. It's going to be dope. That said, it has taken a little bit of a adjustment to not say my old team name, because now it's KillCliff FC.
Totally understandable there. I would probably get fumbled up on that, at least, 3 weeks worth before it was finally just ready to go and just like ingrained into my head. So I can only imagine, especially like you being in camp right now, having to do media and questions left and right. Like, okay, like I have to have this dialed in. Like this is a can't miss item.
We are KillCliff FC.
Certainly. Steve, where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Tall Steve Fights People. You can follow me on Twitter at Tall Steve MMA. You can follow me where I live in South Florida.
As an address,
please don't.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us here today. We definitely are going to be tuning in and watching you go out there, put in a statement on that co-main event performance against Valentin Moldavsky. We can't wait to see what's next for you, my man. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh yeah, thank you for having me, guys. I'll see ya.
Absolutely. Folks, stick around after the break. We'll be back with more original combat sports coverage. This is the MMA Plug presented to you by the Talk of Colorado on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio.
Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That helps us continue to produce this original MMA content and bring it for you every single week. Tune in to the MMA Plug presented by DenverSportsBetting.com on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio on Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m.
or live stream at DenverSportsBetting.com/radio.